All right. Adina, did you want to take for the next introduction? No? Or is
No,
it
I think you're introducing David.
Oh, okay. So sorry. Okay. I'm
No
going to actually
problem.
introduce David. I have his bio. So give me a second. I thought, okay. And I am super excited to be introducing David because he's one of my favorite guy. He's my accountability partner. So give me a second here. For some reason, I thought I was just
Just
like
sitting back.
I can enjoy myself. Uh
If you want,
I can introduce
I'll read.
myself.
no, I want to introduce you. Just give me one quick second. I don't
You
know
want
why.
me to start? You want me to start it?
Yes, please, if you don't
Okay.
mind, and then I'll finish it up.
Sure. I'll just start off by saying David Medansky is a top-selling author and speaker known as the Health Guy because he has helped CEOs, executives, and individuals master creating healthy habits so they can have abundant energy, heightened cognitive ability, feel better, optimal health, and live life to the fullest. David struggled with his own weight issues until July 2016, when his doctor told him to either lose weight or find a new doctor. During the next 4 months, David shed 50 pounds, almost 25% of his total body weight, and has kept it off. He understands your frustrations and challenges to lose weight and has identified 9 golden rules to live a healthy life. Reed, did you want to continue?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for that, Adina. I love having a partner where you can step in. You're like, changing back. I am super excited to have David here because he has so much of his valuable content. He's such a generous man with a huge heart. So what you're going to learn today, it's something that you can apply and you will see the result in terms of losing weight, but it's all about lifestyle. So, hey, the health guy, take it away.
Thanks, Reed. Thanks for having me as a guest. I appreciate being here. So most people don't realize that the food, drug, and weight loss industries are using deceptive marketing tactics to manipulate you to buying their products and services. And those products and services don't work. The reason I say that is most people who go on a diet will gain all their weight back. Some will gain even more within a year. The average person will attempt 4 to 5 new diets each year, and during our lifetime, we'll attempt as many as 126 different diets. So again, if those diets worked, we'd all be thinner and healthier, and those companies would be out of business. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was fit and trim like most people. However, life gets in the way. Family obligations and work responsibilities. I stopped exercising. I started eating more fast foods, convenient foods. And before I realized it, the weight crept up on me. And that's when I realized in July of 2016, at age 61, my doctor told me, based on my lab results and the fact that I was overweight, actually I was fat, I had a 95% chance for a fatal heart attack. So he gave me 2 options. He said, dude, you can lose weight or find a new doctor. And he strongly encouraged me to find a new doctor because he had been after me for 8 years to lose the weight. And if I did lose weight on a diet, I gained it all back. So I was frustrated and I was embarrassed. This time was different. During the next 4 months, I shed 50 pounds, 25% of my total body weight. And more importantly, I've kept it up. I went back and started reading my books from the 1970s on health and nutrition by Paul and Patricia Bragg, Jack LaLanne, Richard Simmons, and William Duffy's Sugar Blues. And what I realized is they have basic concepts, simple things that we all know what to do, we just don't do it. And then I started reading books from current authors. And what I realized from these current authors is they were promoting their products, their services, and their programs. And it made it sound like if you did not follow their programs or invest in their products, you would fail. And I thought there's something wrong here. I'm a former divorce lawyer, so I understand about doing research and separating the fiction from the fact, the opinion from the truth, and found out that a lot of these companies are providing misleading and blatantly false information. So as Ree said, I've identified what I call 9 simple golden rules to live a healthy lifestyle. And I'll go through each one of those and I'll give the reason for each one. so that you can understand how you can master creating new healthy habits for yourself. The first golden rule is to drink more pure water. And what I mean by pure water is either distilled water, reverse osmosis water, or spring water. If you ask different experts, you'll get different opinions. One expert will say drink distilled water. Another will say drink spring water. And a third will say, no, they're both wrong. You need to drink reverse osmosis. In my opinion, you should drink the water that tastes good to you and that you like. The reason you want to drink more water is 75% of the US population is chronically dehydrated. That means we're not drinking enough water. Our bodies are 60 to 70% water. It's not soda or diet soda. It's not fruit juices, and especially not alcohol. There's a direct correlation to people who are overweight. 72% of the US adult population is overweight, of which 42% are clinically obese. And that's because a lot of times when we think we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. So we need to hydrate. And think of it this way. A lot of people can go 3 days, 4 days without food. They're not able to do without drinking water, or at least getting some fluids into them. So that's the first one. The second golden rule is to avoid the highly processed, ultra-processed, and manufactured foods. Michael Pollan had a great quote. He said, if it's made from a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, avoid it. The third golden rule is to eat holistic, whole, real foods. So instead of drinking orange juice, eat the orange. And by the way, orange juice is one of the most unhealthiest drinks you can consume. It's pure sugar. It takes 4 to 8 medium oranges to make 1 glass of orange juice. So the question I'll ask my clients is, would you eat 4 to 8 oranges at one sitting? And of course, everyone says no. However, that's how much sugar you're consuming if you drink 1 glass of orange juice. Golden rule number 4 is to eat slower. We're all in a hurry. We all eat fast. Mark David, in his book, The Slow Down Diet, suggests that if you take 5 minutes for breakfast, give yourself 10 minutes. And at a minimum, give yourself 30 minutes for lunch and 30 minutes for dinner. Otherwise, you'll have what I call mindless eating. And you'll look down and the food that you were eating at your desk, on the computer, or even while you're driving through the fast food is gone. And you're like, well, where did it go? Well, you ate it. You just didn't realize it. Golden rule number 5 is to eat smaller portions. Most people don't realize our portions have been supersized without knowing it. In the 1900s, the average size dinner plate was 9 inches in diameter. Today, it's 12 inches in diameter. And if you go to a restaurant, it can be anywhere from 13 to 15 inches. So what I usually tell my clients is, when you go to a restaurant, get a to-go box right away, or share your meal and cut your meal in half and take half home and eat the rest. That way you're getting 2 meals for the price of 1, so you're also saving money. In Europe, the average size dinner plate, except in the UK, is still 9 inches in diameter. What I always recommend is always use a salad plate. And if possible, use a blue plate. Blue is an appetite suppressant. Red and yellow are appetite stimulants. That's why McDonald's, Burger King's, Wendy's, Carl's Jr., Denny's, and other fast food places all use red and yellow in their marketing schemes. If you haven't noticed that, that's why, because red and yellow, again, are appetite stimulants. Golden rule number 6, I call it rest to digest. And that's to do an intermittent fast. And most people can do it without realizing it. The way to do this is for 12 hours, is to stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. Some experts will say stop eating after 6, some will say after 7. However, we all have different schedules. So I recommend stopping 3 hours before you go to sleep. And then we should get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Your first meal, which is to break the fast, not breakfast, but to break the fast, is about 2 hours afterwards. That's a 12-hour fast. And everybody's like, well, if I'm hungry when I get up, what should I do? Well, the easiest thing to do is to drink at least 8 ounces of water. I personally drink 20 ounces of water. I gulp it, so I can drink it within 10 to 15 seconds. and that rehydrates you. And water is a natural appetite suppressant. So you don't need a drug or an appetite suppressant to suppress your appetite, because that's what water can do for you. It also has other benefits, such as hydrating you and removing a lot of the toxics in your body. Golden rule number 7 is to get adequate sleep. And adequate sleep means 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. So if you have a TV in your bedroom, you should remove it. If you have your cell phone in your bedroom, you should take it out. You want to remove those electromagnetic energy fields and other devices that you have. Golden rule number 8 is to think positive. Research has shown that 80% of our thoughts are negative. Imagine what it would be if 80% of our thoughts were positive. So instead of saying you're unable to do something or focus on something that you want to eat, but you know you should avoid eating, focus on what you enjoy that's healthy for you. Because as Oprah says and other experts say, what we focus on expands. So instead of focusing on the candy bar, the donut, the cake, or anything that you're not supposed to have, focus on the apple that you can enjoy, or other fruits and vegetables, or snacks. Golden rule number 9 is to walk or do some physical activity. Walking is the most underrated physical activity and exercise you can do. Walking has numerous benefits, and it's free. Anybody can do, as long as you're upright and able to walk forward or move forward. Rebel Wilson, the actress, lost 77 pounds in 1 year simply walking an hour each day. Now, I realize not everybody can walk an hour at one time. However, another actress, Mindy Kaling, she lost weight, and what she did is when she had a 10 or 15-minute break, instead of going on social media or texting her friends, she would simply walk. Well, if you walk 10 or 15 minutes a day for 4 or 5 times throughout the day, that's 40 to 50 to 60 minutes. So break it up throughout the day. So those are the 9 simple golden rules. My question to most people is, are there any of those you're unable to do? And most people will acknowledge that, oh, I could do that. The next question is, are there any of those you're unwilling to do? And surprisingly, a lot of people are unwilling to give up their sodas and diet sodas, or they're unwilling to give up some of their processed and ultra processed foods. And when I talk about processed and ultra processed foods, I'm also talking about the deli meats. People think that they're healthy because of the marketing. They say it's low fat or low sodium, and it must be good for me. Well, it's not. It's processed. So those are the 9 simple golden rules. And what I often say to people is, when it comes to eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle, it's we know what to do, we just don't do it. And it's because not what we can do, it's what we will do. So the question is, what will you do to improve your eating habits and your lifestyle to become healthier? When you do all these 9 simple golden rules, you'll have more energy. You'll feel better. You'll look better. You'll have better mental cognitive abilities and mental clarity. And you also improve your overall health. So that's the simple things that you can do. If you want to reach out to me, it's very easy to get in touch with me. It's my first and last name, David Medansky. And my last name is spelled like 3 words, me, Dan, and Sky, MEDANSKY @gmail.com. Or you can reach me on Facebook, social media, or you can just call me. I give out my phone number. It's 602-721-5218. And I do offer a free 30-minute consultation to everybody. It's not a pitch to sell you, upsell you, anything. I just want to see where you're at and offer some suggestions on what you can do, because I also give the 9 golden rules for free. And you can get that as a downloadable PDF at stopdieting.co. I was unable to afford the M. So again, stopdieting.co. And you can download the 9 golden rules for free, or send me a direct message or an email, and I'm happy to send them to you. I'm also giving away a PDF of a little booklet I created called The Moral of the Story Is. And what I did is I found short stories with life lessons, and I applied those life lessons to eating healthy. For example, one of my favorite stories is the pot roast story, and some of you may have heard it, some of you may not have. Simply stated, a young lady is hosting a dinner party and she makes a pot roast. one of the guests says, "This is delicious. Can I get the recipe?" And the host says, "Of course." The host writes it down. She gives it to the guest. The guest looks at it and says, "Why do you cut the ends of the pot roast off before you cook it?" And the host says, "I'm not sure. That's how my mother taught me." So the host is curious the next day and calls her mom and says, "Hey, mom, why do we cut the ends of the pot roast off before we cook it?" And the mom says, "I don't know. That's how your grandmother taught me. Call your grandmother." So the host calls her grandmother and says, "Grandma, why do you cut the ends of the pot roast before you cook it?" And a grandmother takes a minute and thinks, because it's been a while since she made a pot roast. And she says, "Oh, because when I was first married, the pot I had was too small. So I had to cut the ends of the pot roast off to make it fit." So the moral of the story is we do things because that's how we were taught. A friend of mine, John Canada, calls it dietary duplication. So a lot of times we will eat a certain way or certain things because that's how we were taught when we were growing up. So we need to start questioning why we are eating a certain way, when we're eating, what we're eating, how we're eating, and figure out if it's in our best interest to do that. So you can get that. There's other short stories. There's about 16 or 17 of them. And again, they're life lessons and applying those life lessons to eating a healthier lifestyle. I'm open to take questions if anyone has any.
Thank you so much, David, for that. I love his fable. And I see that Adina is going to have a question. So go ahead, Adina. A great job. Thank you so much, David.
I do. Thank you. That was really great. I am really curious how you went from the divorce attorney to doing this.
Well, being a divorce attorney was very stressful. And unfortunately, I was unable to detach from my clients' issues. So their issues became my issues. And I started having anxiety, depression. And that's when I started overeating and not
Wow.
exercising. Now, instead of breaking up families, I help people get healthier and have more energy so that they can keep the families together.
That's
A
great.
lot of times, food can be an issue for triggering certain emotional and psychological issues. So if you have kids or stepkids, it could be a factor as to what they're eating, especially the fast foods.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I did it. And the other thing is, last year at age 67, I hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro. So age is not
Wow.
a factor. And I'm 68 right now. And last month for St. Jude's, I did 100 push-ups a day. I didn't do all 100 at one time. What I did is I break it up. I do 25, 30, 35 at a time. Well, if you do that 3 or 4 times throughout the day, you get 100 push-ups in. Everybody thinks, "Oh, wow, you did 100 push-ups a day." Yeah, it's really not that difficult if you build up to it. And again, break it up throughout the day, just like walking. You don't have to walk an hour at one time. You can break it up.
That's a great suggestion. I also see in the chat that people want you to put your number, either repeat your number again, or can you put it in the chat how people can contact you?
Sure.
That would be great. I know one of the challenges that I had becoming a stepmom was all of a sudden I went from eating super healthy to eating kid food because it was a lot of work to cook separately for 2 different meals, and that was how I put on some weight. But I love your reminders of the good habits. I think it's important for parents. It's very hard for new parents to be, whether you're a stepmom or just a biological mom, it's very hard for new parents to stay on top of healthy eating.
The way I look at it is to live a healthy lifestyle and eat healthy. You never own it. You can only rent it, and the rent is due every day in the forms of the foods that we eat, the beverages we drink, and the physical activity we do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's again, if you ask someone what's the most important thing to them, they'll say my health. Unfortunately, most people don't do enough to improve their health. I'm exhibit A. I didn't do anything for 8 years. I understand the frustrations people go through. I understand the challenges because I've been there. And so I've overcome them. And that's why I help people. And what I tell my clients, it takes an average of 66 days to create a new habit. And what happens is people see the commercials from the national brands of lose 20, 30 pounds, your first month guarantee. You'll lose that 20 or 30 pounds. However, it's not sustainable, nor is it healthy. Think of it this way. If you lost 2, 3, 4 pounds per month, not per week, but per month, and you do it on average for 12 months, because some months you'll lose more, some you'll lose none, some you'll lose less. After a year, you'll be down 24 to 48 pounds lighter. And so the whole thing is to be consistent and give it enough time. An example I use is in January, especially January 1st, everybody makes their New Year's resolution. They're going to eat healthier, go to the gym, exercise, work out. And 3 weeks later, they get on the scale and the scale hasn't moved. Now they're frustrated. I'm eating healthier, I'm exercising. The scale is not showing I'm losing weight. Well, what's happening is they're replacing their fat with muscle. Fat and muscle weigh the exact same. 5 pounds is 5 pounds. The difference being muscle is denser and takes up less room than the fat. So what's happening is they're replacing the fat with muscle and they're losing inches. So they're feeling that their clothes are feeling looser, but the scale is not indicating that they're losing the weight. I had a client that went through the same thing. After 3 weeks of working with me, he's frustrated. And I said to him, his name was Dave. I said, Dave, what's going on? He goes, well, I'm doing everything you're telling me to do, but the weight's not coming off. So I asked him, I said, are you exercising? Where he goes, yeah, I'm riding my bike 5 miles a day. I'm walking, my 10,000 steps. I said, well, how do your clothes feel? He goes, well, they're loose. I said, oh. I said, how's your energy level? He says, it's better. He says, in fact, people are asking me if I'm losing weight. However, I know the scale says I'm not. I said, don't go by the scale. Go by how your clothes fit. Your clothes will tell you everything. You don't need to go by the scale. The scale will lie to you.
Thank
There's
you.
a
That
comment-
was
Yeah.
Any other questions from?
There's a comment from B. It says, David, I like that you transitioned from divorce lawyer to healthy lifestyle and living a healthy diet. It's like you're now help clients divorce the fat diet to marrying a healthy lifestyle nutrition for their life. Put a ring on that healthy life.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great.
Sometimes I'll tell people I divorced my weight. A lot of people will make jokes, they'll say I lost 130 pounds or 160 pounds. And I'll say, well, how did you do that? And they'll say I divorced my spouse. Think of it this way. In the 1960s, the average male weighed about 162 pounds. Today, the average male weighs 193 pounds.
Wow.
The average female in the 1960s weighed 143 pounds. Today, the average female will weigh about 165 pounds. We're going in the wrong direction. 80% of people, 70% of people are overweight. And what that means is if you're with 10 friends, 7 of you are overweight and 4 of you are clinically obese, because 42% is clinically obese. The other thing is, if you look at pictures from the 1970s of people at the beach, you won't see very many fat people. They're all thin. I had a friend that went to his high school 50th reunion a few years ago when I was writing one of my books. And he said that he was showing his yearbook to his kids. And his kids said, hey, Dad, can we look at the pictures again? He said, sure, what's going on? And they were flipping through and he goes, there's no fat kids in your class. And I realized that in my high school, there were very few overweight kids, no one fat, maybe 3 or 4. Today, if you look at kids, at least 25 to 30% of them are overweight. And that's because when I was growing up, McDonald's was a treat and wasn't filled with all the chemicals they're putting in there today. Today, people go to Starbucks. An average Starbucks drink can have as many as 75 grams of sugar. Well, you only need 25 to 30 grams of sugar per day to maintain, be healthy. And some of these people are drinking 2 or 3 of these sugary drinks throughout the day. The other thing is daily allowances for nutritional fat panel is based on 2,000 calories. The average American consumes 3,600 calories. That's an average. So a lot of people consume more, some consume less. And again, it's misleading about calories and counting calories. Not all calories are created equal. For example, an apple, a medium-sized apple, is between 90 and 125 calories. The difference is it takes 25 calories to your body to burn off to process and digest the apple, and it's loaded with nutritional value. If you eat a Snickers bar or Hershey bar and you drink a diet soda, that's about 125 calories, has no nutritional value, increases your cravings for sugar because that's the aspartame in the diet soda, and it'll also create weight gain. And people are like, well, how does a diet soda create weight gain? Two reasons. Number one, it inhibits your body from absorbing vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So now your body's in starvation mode because you haven't given it the right fuel. Think of your body as an incredible machine. So you need to give it the right fuel for the energy. The other thing is aspartame increases your cravings for sweetness. So now you may have the diet soda. Now you're going to want the Hershey bar, the Snickers bar, the donut, the cupcake, the ice cream, whatever it is that, fancies and that you crave. So that's why it's so difficult for a lot of people to lose weight when they think they're eating healthy, drinking a diet soda when really they're not.
There's a question here for you, David, and I want to be able to also just, he has his book there, Stop Dieting, Start Thinning, and he's written many, many books. On top of that, he has a TV show that's coming up. I don't know if you can talk about it yet.
Oh, yeah. Jaded Health is my forthcoming TV show. It'll be aired on January 18th, 2024.
Oh, wow.
The premiere. I'm super excited about it. I had some incredible guests on there. It's informative, it's fun, and I want to educate people and provide as much information as possible so that people can make informed decisions as to what they're going to put into their bodies. Capital One has a commercial where William Devane says, "What's in your wallet?" A lot of people say, what's in your safe? That's William Devane. Capital One is what's in your wallet. What you should be asking is what's in your food. And when people look at the nutritional fat panels, they read them wrong. The first thing they'll look at is the calories. A lot of times they look at the sugars, the protein, maybe the serving size. What very few people do is look at the ingredients. And when you look at the ingredients in the very fine print, and there's a reason they keep it fine print because they don't want you reading it, you'll be astounded as to what you're actually putting into your body.
What is the name of the TV show? Can you say that one more time?
Jaded Health.
And where can people watch that?
It'll be on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV.
Awesome. I'm
and
putting
a bunch
that in
of
the
other
chat.
platforms. It's a streaming TV series. And I'm also writing another book. It's called Jaded Health, Everyday Health Choices, 9 Simple Golden Rules to Live a Healthy Life.
Fantastic. Well, we are just about out of time. That was perfect timing, David. Really, thank you for making that connection.
Thank you, Dina. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me as a guest. And again, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to give a free 30-minute consultation. Usually it goes longer. And I answer your questions, figure out what you're doing now, and make suggestions and offer tips and ideas of what you can do to improve it.
There is actually a question for you, and then we'll end with this one because there's still 3 minutes left to the screenshot. Does it matter if you eat 3 to 4 times a day or 6 to 7 smaller meals?
No, it does not. Again, if you ask one expert, they'll tell you one thing. Another expert will say that expert is wrong. And the third expert will say both of those experts are wrong. So it's who or what do you trust and believe? What I've learned in helping clients is some people prefer to eat one meal throughout the day. It's called restricted time eating. Other people, clients do better when they have 4 or 5 small meals, and some do better with 2 meals. You have to figure out what's going to work for you and what's best for your body, because we're all different and we all have different schedules. We have kids to take care of. We have work responsibilities. So there's not one size that fits all, and we're all different. We have different chemistries, different body compositions. There's differences between males and females with hormones. So again, you need to figure out what's going to work for you. And that's why I tell people, give yourself at least a year to figure this stuff out, because it's a journey and you're on a health journey. And so be patient, be consistent, and give yourself enough time.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, David. Congratulations. Great job. So happy for all of your success.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.